Hello. So, I think I'm gonna try something a little bit different for today, and see how it goes for the future. You could say that all of the footage from this video is all from just one play session, but what I've done is I'm trying to tell us, just a little bit of a story from this very play session, such as our encounters, our actions, our thoughts, what we enjoyed, what we were glad that didn't happen, and, you know, how it ended, of course. And let's see how that goes, shall we? But with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoy. So, I felt like playing some Sako. As you can see my build down in the bottom, full drown Sako as usual, the most useless Sako build ever. But I enjoy it. So anyway, Morkron was streaming, and usually when Morkron is streaming and he's around in Grand Plains, I always know that Saka is in the river on Sako. I'm kinda lucky that they were in the river because that means I got someone to work with while I do the thing that I want to do, right? I'm not just completely helpless. But enough of that. Here's a quick little ambush. Was that a little overdramatic? Ah well, who cares. And not even 5 minutes later, Saka ends up finding a Picno trying to cross the river. We can't be having that now, can we? All that's gonna happen, if they were to cross the river, is they go to Crater and die to the Sarkos there, so we're just saving a trip, really. Though with my setup right here, I am not really made to be able to deal with anything that I cannot grab, so in other words, I have 0 damage. All I can really do is just support Saka by draining the stamina of whatever they're fighting, just to give them an easier time to either evade or put out the real damage like this. Bye bye Picno. So, around a minute later, me and Saka end up seeing another Spino coming up the river. We kind of just assumed that someone logged onto Spino that we killed, and they've come here, so obviously, we go for it immediately. It's the same role as usual. I'm just draining the stamina of whatever we're fighting, and Saka is dealing the big Ooga Booga damage. I think it's quite safe to say that they know the problem they are dealing with right here, seeing as they will have no stamina to actually either catch the Sarkos or run away from the Sarkos if they actually wanted to try and stay in the river. Now, right here, I wasn't really paying enough attention because a Megalania ended up showing up and, well, I had no idea. So while I'm just messing around in the water trying to be a surprise just in case anything does show up that I can grab and drown, thankfully, Saka spots it and just casually kills it super easily. So now it's pretty much just, the usual face-off on the edge of the water, where both sides are waiting for the other side to try and attack, but both sides know that they're at a disadvantage if they try to attack. You see where I'm getting at right here? Well, that is until Saka goes and does what they usually do. And that's usually just saying, screw it. And it worked out wonderfully, because they ended up just entering the water in a blood-fueled rage where I could actually do my job. Are you noticing how slow they are and how they just cannot evade or catch us, really? That's it, right there. It's just stamina. They have no stamina. They cannot evade attacks. They cannot catch us with the attacks that they want to hit us with. Maybe a tail attack here and there, but otherwise we've actually got a mistake for, make a mistake for them to actually get anything done. I'm just glad that my useless Sarko build can actually have a use in a fight, though I do need someone who plays Sarko very well alongside me. It's fine with me. Saka's very good on Sarko. Another friend ended up joining on Latin, and they were kind of just trying to be a nuisance to the enemy group. Trying to keep them in combat, stop them from healing, just the usual little things that end up in little skirmishes throughout a fight. So long as we didn't get too far away from the water, I think we were kind of fine, especially with the plan we had out for actually dealing with anything that could swim, which was me drain stam, Saka deal the damage. The one who was really struggling the most because they had so many people to deal with was our Latin, which ended up being forced to actually jump in the water. Though Saka was desperately trying to get my attention to try and carry our Latin to the other side of the river. And then while crossing back over to the other side, I hear a bit of commotion, and then I see the Picno and another Latin chasing, another Latin. While I'm actually playing in-game, I have no idea what is happening, but I know how this is gonna end. Someone is gonna end up in the water. And let's just say the last Latin I ended up carrying, I didn't get to drown, so I'm gonna make up for it with this one. And so when I actually do end up grabbing this Latin, something embarrassing happens, because I grab them, put them into the middle of the water, and then I miss this oxygen attack right here. How the hell did I miss that? I'll tell you how. Because I'm bad. But, no witnesses, right? So, while I'm having fun watching a Latin drown, Saka is off on their own. Pretty much just one-man armying against this Spino and Picno. So after that, Saka is actually quite hurt, as you can see, so they kind of want to find a chance to heal up a little bit. That's when another random Spino comes along. And let's just be thankful that it was random, because they did not want to fight. So you can end up seeing right here, that ends up just carrying on down the river like, nothing's happening, just passing through, and it goes past Saka, which makes Saka end up revealing themselves. And at this point then, you can just see they realize that if they don't get out of the water, they could be seen as someone that we might attack, right? And you can't blame them either. But they do end up actually asking, are you guys chill? And we just tell them, hey, we ain't mad at you, we're angry at the group across the river kind of deal. So before I even had a clue who it was, there was a Hatzer showed up, and it turned out to be the Latin that I carried across the river. Yeah, they came back on hats. I don't know how to feel about that. So now to, just to put these guys at ease and so that they don't interfere, or even if we're lucky, they might even help, who knows, I decided to give them a little trophy, as we're not going to be able to hand it in anyway. And so across the river, Saka and the Hats are fighting the Spino and Picno, but for some reason this Picno just keeps knocking the Hats into the water, thinking that maybe the Sarkos will actually attack the Hats. But what they really did is they ended up baiting their own Spino by putting their Spino's target into the water with the things that want to kill the Spino. In other words, the Sarkos, us. It was a shame I couldn't really grab the trophy in time. The Picno ended up getting it pretty quickly. But after all was said and done, this random Spino that didn't interfere, they just got to have a nice meal. And, carry on with their day. They even tried to give us some food. We didn't really need it, though. There was a little bit of a mistake where Saka ended up spotting the Latin that I gave the trophy to across the river, and thought that maybe the Latin had stolen it. Well, yeah, I can understand the thought process, and I can also understand the thought process of the Latin that ended up getting a trophy off of one of the Sarkos and then attacked by the other one. I would kind of look at it as almost like a fake friendly kind of deal, but it was more just miscommunication that I didn't tell Saka at the time. Around 6 minutes later, yeah, let's just say about 6 minutes later, there was a big, group that showed up at the river again. We just assumed that people had logged and switched to stuff, and yeah, you know how it is. It's just generally the thing you think of when you play official servers. And I ended up seeing Apache among that group, which sounds absolutely perfect for me. Sadly, I didn't find it all that interesting personally. It was probably way different for Saka because they were the one initiating the fight and dealing the damage and taking most of the damage. This Spino came into the water, which, we could at least have a little bit of fun with. I can just do the same thing as usual, drain their stamina, and then Saka... well, yeah, they can just do their thing. They've got a bars in the river, just doing something, I guess. Either way, anytime that Spino gets in the river, it's not going to have any stamina. So it's pretty much just a staring contest between Saka and the two Rexes and the bars, while I kind of just try lurking, just in the background waiting to do something. That is, at least until the Spino ends up coming back to the water and starts immediately going for Saka. Then I can do my job again. Oh, but they went straight back out of the water again. I can't blame them. If they don't have any stamina and they're in water against two Sarkos, they die. They have also only seen me use the oxygen bite so far. They haven't seen me use my clamp yet. But here was the heartbreak for me. The Apache was drinking and I missed it. But either way, the group ended up walking away from the river, and for some reason, the Suko was just standing still, so Saka went to go bite it, and yeah, you just see all of those apexes crowd around that Suko, whereas then our hats came in, and they just end up finishing off the Suko afterwards. But all in all, I'm mainly just glad that this Latin and the Spino, they got to just pass by, and they didn't lose anything. They were just watching, and enjoying the battle, I guess. And so here we are at the end. First of all, let me give, a little shout out to Saka. You should check out their channel, they upload every so often, and usually it's always pretty good to watch because they just put a lot into it. Along with also pulling off the similar kind of shenanigans that Morcron usually pulls off, which is just usually just silly things that should not have been survived or won in the first place. But if you did make it this far, please feel free to let me down in the comments how you felt about the format of the video. It was kind of shorter, but I could put a lot more effort and try to make it a bit more interesting, a bit more quality over quantity, while also being able to do them faster at the same time. But with all that out of the way, I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Bye.